Good evening with your CIGTV news update. I'm Simon Bogsall in for Donna Bush. In today's top story, following Hurricane Beryl's development last week, the National Weather Service is reminding people to stay up to date with local weather. While storms have already begun to form, meteorologist Avalon Porter notes that peak season for the Cayman Islands is still some months away, and readiness is required throughout.
As of now, as climatology, the majority of tropical storms or hurricanes occur during the month of September. So even though it's quiet now, we still expect a peak to occur later on in the next couple of months. So we should all be prepared.
The most accurate local weather information is also available from the National Weather Service website.
For further information, you can go on our website, which is weather.gov.ky. On there, you'll find our current forecast, 5-day forecast. And we also have a 3 to 6 month climatological outlook, which gives you the what we expect for rainfall was above normal or below, also with our temperatures. And we also have on there something called wet days, dry days, spells that we predict over the next 3 to 6 months. And our radar images are also on there if you want to check them out.
Hurricane season runs from the 1st of June to the 30th of November 2018. It only takes one storm to change a community forever. Visit www.weather.gov.ky at any time to get the latest on developing weather systems. If you have not already made plans to keep yourself, your loved ones, and your property safe, visit www.caymanprepared.gov.ky for detailed tips and essential information. In other news, the Youth Services Unit, a teen summit camp, wound down today after a very active week. Each year, Youth Services delivers an action-packed series of events that aim to build teamwork among teens. Earlier this week, CIGTV had an opportunity to watch some of that team building in action.
This is one of the high-energy activities. It's kickball. It was a hit from last summer, so we brought it back over again this summer in Teen Summit. Something that young people really look forward to. This year, the theme of Teen Summit is Thrive, and one of the elements that they focused on during the week was teamwork. So this is one way of them putting teamwork into action.
For further information on programs offered by the Youth Services Unit year-round, call 943-1127 or email james.miles@gov.ky. And in our final story, we have more from Councillor Harris's interview with CIGTV, which was focused on the latest sitting of the Legislative Assembly. In the interview, Mr. Harris notes he was pleased to see a high level of unity among all the elected officials.
The traditional combative environment between government and opposition, whilst yes, sometimes it is a necessary evil, but I'm happy to say that in this, what is relatively my fourth meeting since being elected, it's nice to see the collaboration that goes on between the government and the opposition, who all 19 members are elected to serve the people of the Cayman Islands. And these last 3 days were very reflective of the cooperative relationship that can exist between both sides of the aisle and seeking to serve the greater public benefit.
During the interview, Mr. Harris gave an overview of the various laws that were debated in the LA, including the Advanced Passenger Information Bill, the Immigration Bill, the Cadet Corps Law, and the Traffic Amendment Bill. You can watch the full interview with Councillor Harris here on CIGTV next week. As always, if you missed today's news update, you can get all the details on our Facebook and YouTube pages. And of course, don't forget to tune in to Radio Cayman's For the Record and Talk Today shows. I'm Simon Bogsall. Good night, and thanks for watching.
Did you know that planning permission is required for a shed? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know planning permission is required to clear land by mechanical means? You should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required.
Boating, fishing, and water sports in the Cayman Islands are great, but keep a cool head. Here are 7 tips for fun and safe sea outings. Number 1. Use a checklist to plan your outing. Check the weather forecast, make a float plan, and share it with someone who is remaining on land, stating where you're going, with whom, and when you're expected to return. Visit your nearest marine supply store to get your safety gear. This includes signaling mirrors, whistles, and a flare kit. It's also very important to have onboard flotation devices and life vests for each person. There are different types of vests. Some are for water sport activities such as snorkeling, and others are for going on offshore boating or on fishing trips. Number 2. These items can be lifesavers in case of an accident or bad weather. Number 3. Use a motor kill switch, especially if you're boating alone. In case of a leak or breakdown, always stay with the boat until help arrives. If you capsize, an emergency beacon or locator device can send a distress signal to inform the authorities of your location. Larger flares will indicate distress to a boat, airplane, or search and rescue officials. Number 4. In addition to sunscreen, food, and beverages, it would be smart to have a cell phone. Make sure your marine radio works. Cayman's boaters use Channel 16 to communicate. Number 5. Also, don't forget your anchor and sufficient rope. Number 6. Boat operators should be familiar with the local waters and reefs, as well as the capabilities and functions of the vessels they are using. Always obey the rules of the sea and the marine environment, and have courtesy for others. Number 7. Alcohol and salt water do not mix, especially if you're the captain. Some useful contact numbers are 911. The RCIPS Marine Base is 649-7710, and the Port Authority is 949-2055. Smooth sailing, all!
Did you know that planning permission is required for an addition, alteration, or any material change to your house? The 10% rule no longer exists. Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required?
The Esterly-Tibbetts Highway 3-lane roundabout is ready for drivers. It's time to make sure you know how to use it. First, know which exit you need to take. Pay attention to lane arrows and signs. Make sure you use your signal to change lanes or exit the roundabout. To turn left, you always approach in the left-hand lane and indicate left. To drive straight ahead, you need to be looking out for signs and road markings indicating which lane to use. Get in one of the lanes marked with a straight-through arrow. If turning right, you must use the right-hand lane and indicate accordingly. To use the roundabout safely, remember these 3 tips. Know your exit, pick your lane, and signal to make your turn.
Did you know your mailing address details on your land register must be up to date in order to receive notices on new development which may impact you? Visit Lands and Survey Department to check